Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In previous video we have finished operators topic. In today's video we will start with control flow statements in Java. Let's forget Java for a moment. If we consider our day-to-day life, every decision that you make in your daily life depends on certain condition. For example, you decided to play football on Sundays and on other days you will be studying. In this case, the condition is if the day is Sunday, then you will play football. If it is any other day, you will be studying. So based on this condition, you have taken decision. Similar to that, in Java, we have control flow statement. If you want to execute a piece of code based on certain condition, you can use control flow statements in Java. So if we look at here, decision making in programming is similar to decision making in real life. You make decision based on certain condition. So in our example, you will play football if the day is Sunday. If it is any other day, you will be studying. So your condition is based on day. Based on the condition, you do certain work. Based on certain condition, you can control the flow of code executions. In Java, if you want to execute certain piece of code based on certain condition, you can go for control flow statement. So there are three types of control flow statement. First is conditional statement, second is switch case, and third is jump statements. For this video, we will focus on conditional statements. We have already seen if else in our previous video, but we will see it in detail in this video. Let's get started. I will go to IntelliJ. There I will show you how to use these statements. I have opened my IntelliJ IDEA. I will go ahead and create a new class and I will keep the class name as control flow demo. So this is my class. My class is ready. I will go ahead and create main method inside this. So my main method is ready. Now first we will have a look at if statements. Now suppose I want to check a person's eligibility to vote. If the person is having age greater than 18, I want to print person is eligible to vote. How I can achieve that using if statement. So suppose I have a person. First, I will create a variable of integer type. I will store person's age in this variable, and person's age is suppose 25. Now, I want to check if this person's age is greater than 18 or not. If the person's age is greater than 18, I will print person is eligible to vote. So I will make use of if statement, and I will write my condition age greater than 18. If age is greater than 18, I want to print person is eligible to vote. And so my code is ready. I will just print outside program ends so that we will know the program has ended. Now, if I execute this code, I should get output as person is eligible to vote. Yeah, and this statement is getting printed. The person is eligible to vote, program ends. I will just print like this. Yeah, so our condition is getting satisfied here. Age will be checked. So is age greater than 18? In this case, yes, age is greater than 18. So this will become true. This condition will become true. And if this condition is true, the code inside this block will be executed. And after that, the code outside the block will be executed. What will happen if I make this age as 15? Now, if we see, this condition will become false. Age greater than 18? No, age is 15, so it will become false. Now, if this is false, if block will not be executed directly. The code outside the block will be executed. So if we run this code, yeah, program has ended. It did not print whether the person is eligible to vote or not. Because this condition is not satisfied, this code block will not execute directly. It will execute anything outside this block and the program will end. So program ends. So this if block may or may not execute. So there is no guarantee that this if block will execute. If the condition is true, it will execute. That is how if statement work. Now, suppose if we look at this code, we can see we are only printing if the person is eligible to vote. Now suppose I want to write a code where I want to print if person's age is greater than 18, I will print person is eligible to vote. But if it's less than 18, I have to print person is not eligible to vote. So in our current program, we are just printing person is if the person is eligible to vote. If he is not eligible to vote, I'm not printing anything. I'm just printing program ends. But I want to give this message to user to let him know like he is not eligible to vote. So how I can do that? I can make use of if else statement. So I will just comment it. So this is second statement, that is if else statement. I will just comment this piece of code and I will take the age variable again. Suppose value is 15 and I will take if age greater than 18. I have to print the same statement, that is person is eligible to vote. So yeah, if his age is greater than 18, I have to print person is eligible to vote, else print person is not eligible to vote. The code is self-explanatory. If his age is greater than 18, I will print person is eligible to vote. If his age is less than 18, this else block will get executed. And I will just mention program ends. Let me copy it. So our code is ready. Now if we run this code, obviously I should get person is, sorry, I have to write here person is not eligible to vote. I will run it again. So I should get person is not eligible to vote because our age is 15, which is less than 18. So what will happen? This if statement will get false. And if this is false, obviously if block will not be executed and the other block will execute. That is else block will execute. Now if I make it 35, now 35 is greater than 18. So this block will become true and if block will get executed and else block will be skipped. So our output will be person is eligible to vote. Yeah, person is eligible to vote. So for if else statement, either if or else, one of the block will always execute. So I will write here. So either if will execute or else will execute. So one block will definitely execute out of the two blocks. If this block is executed, then else block will not be executed. If this block is not executed, then definitely else block will be executed. So this is how if else statement works. What is the difference between if and if else? There is no guarantee that if block will execute. If this condition is evaluated to true, then only the if block will get executed. But in case of if else, one of the two statement will definitely execute. If first one is not executed, second will execute. And if the first one is executed, second will not execute. So one of the two statement will definitely execute. So this is the difference. I hope it is clear. So we have seen if statement, we have seen if else statement. Now we will go for if else if statements. So I will just comment this piece of code and we will see third statement, that is if else if. What is if else if statement? So let's consider an example. Suppose I have to write a code and I have to print grades of student based on the marks they have received. So I will just comment what I want the code to do. So if marks greater than 90, I have to print your grade is A. If marks greater than 80, your grade is B. Marks greater than 70, grade is C. Marks greater than 60, grade is D. Marks greater than 50, grade is E. marks greater than 40, grade is F. So I will just print if any other marks, else fail. Okay. So my requirement is if student's marks is greater than 90, I have to print grade is A. If greater than 80, I have to print B. Greater than 70, C. Greater than 60, D. Greater than 50, E. Else he is failed. So here if we see there are multiple conditions which needs to be taken care of. If we have such scenario in which we have to handle multiple conditions, then we can go for if else if statement. And this is also called as if else if ladder. How to implement this code we will see. First condition I will just write if. Before this I will create a variable where I will store student marks. So variable name is marks. Suppose student got 95 marks. So I have to write if marks greater than 90. Our first condition is if marks is greater than 90, I have to print your grade is A. So I will simply print, I will copy this and I will paste it here. Your grade is A. Now I will use else if. Instead of else, I will use else if because I have multiple conditions. If you are using else, you cannot give any condition. So if we see here else, there is no condition. But I want to use multiple condition. For multiple condition, you can go for else if. So here I will write if marks greater than 80, I will print your grade is B. Again, you can write else if marks greater than 70, you can print grade is C. Again, I will use else if. So you can just do chaining. If you have multiple condition, you can just chain it like this. If, else if, else if, else if. So this is also called if, else if ladder. Marks greater than 60, just print grade is D. And one more condition is else if marks greater than 50, I have to print grade is F. Sorry, grade is E. A, B, C, D, E. Now, if he's getting marks other than this, like other than these condition, for example, if he's getting marks lesser than 50, we have written condition up to greater than 50. If he's getting marks lesser than 50, I can just put it inside else block. Anything other than this condition, this block will be executed. So I have to print fail. You are fail. So our code is ready. If we execute this code, it will check line by line. First, it will come here to this if statement. If marks is greater than 90, yeah. So this will become true and this block will be executed. So if any of the block is executed, these rest of the blocks will be skipped. So this block will not be executed because our condition is getting satisfied at the first block itself. So I will get output as your grade is A and I will just print outside this block. I will print this statement program ends. So we'll come to know a program has ended. So now if I execute this code, first if block will be checked. Yeah, this condition is getting satisfied. So we will get this output. Rest of the blocks will be skipped. So these blocks will be skipped and we will get output as your grade is A and program ends. So let's run and check whether we are getting the desired output or not. Yeah, so we can see here the output is your grade is A and program ended. Now suppose I have a student whose marks is 85. So in this case, first block will be checked. So if marks greater than 90, no, 85 is not greater than 90. So this will become false. Now second condition will be checked. Marks greater than 80, yes. So this condition will become true. So only this block will be executed, rest of the blocks will be skipped. And I will get output as your grade is B and program ends. So if I run this code, I am getting your grade is B, program ends. Okay, now suppose someone is having marks as 65. So in this case, this will become false. First block will become false. Again, it will check this block. This will also become false. Now this block will be checked. Again, this will become false. Now this block will be checked. So yeah, marks greater than 60. Yes, 65 is greater than 60. So this will become true. And this block will be executed. This blocks will be skipped. So I will get output as your grade is D. Yes, it's working perfectly fine. Now suppose some student got marks as 27. In this case, this all this block will become false. This also will become false because marks is not greater than 50. So by default, this block will be executed because marks is 27. So it will go to the final block. Since the final block is not having any condition, by default this will be executed. If these blocks are not getting executed, obviously else block will get executed. So I will get output as you have failed. So I hope it is clear how these if else if block is executing. One more thing you have to keep in mind while using if else if ladder is that the code is executed sequentially. It is executed line by line. First, this block will execute, then this block will execute, then this block will execute, and so on. So, the conditions which you are giving is very important. For example, what I am saying, suppose marks greater than 50, if you are changing the sequence of your condition, suppose instead of writing this marks greater than 50, here I am writing it in this block. So marks greater than 50, your grade is E. So I will just write it here. And this one I'm writing below, marks greater than 80, I'm writing here. And your grade will be B. So I have just swapped the position of the block. The block which was present here, I have written it down below here, and the block which was present here, I have moved it above. So I have just swapped the position of the block. Now if you will run the code, for example, suppose someone got marks as 85. So if you will run this code now, it will run sequentially. For example, it will check this block first. So obviously this block will be false. Now again it will check marks greater than 50. So here you can see obviously 85 is greater than 50. So this condition will get satisfied and you will get output as your grade is E. So which is not the correct output because he is having marks 85 and for 85 the grade should be B. But since you have mentioned the condition marks greater than 50 above the condition marks greater than 80, so obviously this condition will get satisfied first and rest of the conditions will be skipped. So this one will get satisfied first because obviously 85 is greater than 50. So we will get output as your grade is E, which is not the correct output. Yeah, we are getting your grade is E. So the order in which we are writing the condition is also important because the code is executed sequentially line by line from top to bottom. So you have to keep in mind order in which you are writing the condition. So for if else if block, conclusion is out of all the condition, only one condition will be satisfied and its block will be executed. So this is the conclusion. So out of all this condition, for a given input, only one condition will be satisfied and its block will be executed. So in this case, this condition is getting satisfied. So rest of the blocks will be skipped. So this was all about if else if block. So till now we have seen if statement, if else statement and if else if statement. Now we will have a look at nested if else. So what is nested if else? I will just comment nested if else statements. What is nested if else? It is nothing but if else inside if else statement. So this is called nesting. What it means, suppose if we copy our if else statement, so I will just copy this code and I will uncomment this code. I will just comment if else if statement code. So we can see what is nested statement. Now suppose I have this code here. We have written code for if age is greater than 18, we have to print person is eligible to vote, or else person is not eligible to vote. Suppose I want to check one more scenario. Once I know the person is greater than 18, I want to check if he is having a valid voter card. So inside this, I will just remove this statement. So if person is greater than 18, I have to check one more scenario whether the person is having voting card or not. So I will take one more variable, Boolean type variable, Boolean has voting card. So if the person is having a valid voting card, then only we will print the person is eligible to vote. If he is not having valid voting card, then we will print person is not eligible to vote. Even though he has a valid age, person is not eligible to vote. So for example, I have a valid voting card, so value will be true. Now inside this if block, I can use one more statement. If has voting card, then print the person is eligible to vote. Else the person has valid age but he is not eligible to vote as he does not have a valid voting card. So I have written this long statement. Oh, you need to keep this inside print system.out.println. So here what I'm doing, first I'm checking if the person has a valid age. Age is greater than 18. Okay, then it will enter into this block. Inside this if block, I have written one more if else statement where I am checking if he has a valid voting card or not. So if the person has a valid voting card, again it will enter into this if statement and it will print person is eligible to vote. And if this statement is false, it will print else statement. Person has a valid age, but he is not eligible to vote as he does not have a valid voting card. So this is called nesting. We are writing if else inside if statement. Also you can, if you have some other logic, you can write if else inside else statement as well. So you can make use of nesting in if else if you have such scenarios. So this is called nested if else statement. So if I run this code, I should get person is eligible to vote because first it will come to this statement age greater than 18. Yes, true. Then it will enter into this if block. Inside this if block, it will check if has voting card true. So this will also become true. Now it will enter into this if statement. The person is eligible to vote. So if I run this code, I should get output as person is eligible to vote. Yes. Now suppose I make this false. Now here what will happen? Age greater than 18, yes. Age is 35 greater than 18. Has a voting card? No, it will become false. Now if this statement is false, obviously else will be executed. So I will get person has a valid age but he is not eligible to vote as he does not have a valid voting card. So let me run this code. Yes, I'm getting person has valid age but he is not eligible to vote as it does not have a valid voting card. Now if I make this 15, again age is greater than 18, no, then entire if block will be false and anyhow else block will be executed. So we will get person is not eligible to vote. Yes. So this is how nested if else statements work, and I hope it is easy. Hope you can understand this. You can use this if else statement in any block, inside if block, inside else block, inside if statement, inside if else if statement. There will be no problem. So that was all for this video. If you have any doubts, you can mention it in the comment section. Till then, see you in the next video. Thank you.